नमस्कार, मैं हूं दीपिका लिंगडॉ। एपेक्स न्यूज इंडिया में आपका स्वागत है। आइए डालते हैं एक नजर आज की सुर्खियों पर। मेघालय सरकार ने मेघालय इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रमोशन पॉलिसी में संशोधनों की मंजूरी दे दी है, जिसका उद्देश्य प्रक्रियाओं को सरल बनाना और लोकल इंडस्ट्रीज को बढ़ावा देना है। चीफ मिनिस्टर कॉनराड के सांगमा ने कहा कि बदलावों में माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस की नई परिभाषा शामिल है, जिसमें निवेश सीमा को 50 लाख रुपए से घटाकर 10 लाख रुपए किए गए हैं, ताकि स्थानीय उद्यमियों को फायदा मिले। संशोधन ये भी सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि पुरानी इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी और नई MIIPA पॉलिसी के बीच जो गैप पीरियड था, उस दौरान यूनिट लगाने वाले इन्वेस्टर्स को लाभ जारी रहे।
Amendment to the Meghalaya Industrial Investment Promotion Policy. These are basic investments just to streamline and to make things more simpler for our different agencies, different organizations. For example, earlier the definition of micro enterprises was limited or was at amount of 50 lakhs investment. We realized that micro organizations are more local, so therefore we cannot have 50 lakhs. So we've reduced that to 10 lakhs, so that more people can get the benefit, and obviously most of them are local people, and hence we have changed those terms. There was a discontinuity in terms of the old industrial policy, the new Unnati policy, and now the new MIPA policy, because the old industrial policy ended in about 22 or 21, 22, and hence there was a period of a 1-year gap. We felt that in terms of the continuity that we require, so that investors' confidence is there and the continuity in investment is there, and those who did invest during that time also don't lose out. We decided that there will be a continuity, and even those who put up units earlier will also get the benefit of the investments and in terms of the subsidies that they have been given. So like that, there were basic amendments that were made in order to just streamline and bring our policy at line or at par with what is happening in the rest of the country, as well as what's happening in especially the northeastern states. So these were the main decisions that were made. If you have any questions.
राज्य सरकार ने नॉर्थ गारो हिल्स डिस्ट्रिक्ट के एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सेटअप के लिए जमीन खरीदने को मंजूरी दे दी है, जिसके लिए 2016-17 में फंड एलोकेट किया गया था। बुधवार को कैबिनेट मीटिंग की अध्यक्षता करने के बाद चीफ मिनिस्टर कॉनराड के सांगमा ने कहा कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने जमीन की पहचान कर ली थी और 5 करोड़ रुपए जो जमीन अधिग्रहण के लिए डिप्टी कमिश्नर के पास पड़े थे, उनसे जमीन परचेज कर ली गई। सांगमा ने कहा, ये एक पुराना प्रपोजल था और अब हम जमीन खरीदने की मंजूरी दे रहे हैं। उन्होंने बताया कि जमीन पर डिस्ट्रिक्ट का एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाया जाएगा।
Under Tura town area, West Garo Hills. As you are aware, there are many localities where there are government offices, there are government land which have been encroached by individuals and public at large in the past 30, 40, 50 years. And in many cases, there have been a lot of court cases going on, and at different times there have been eviction notices being given, which has caused a lot of inconvenience and at times law and order situation. And hence, in line with the same policy which we adopted for William Nagar about 2 to 3 years back, the cabinet today has approved the proposal from GAD to go for settlement of these encroached land. So this will be leased out in a long-term lease to the people who are staying in that land. The land will be revenue land, but as I said, lease pata, long-term lease will be given to these individuals. There are criteria that will be followed, and based on those criteria, now as I said, it will be regularized in one way. Settlement will be done, so that in the future there is no more complication and no more situations that the government or the public has to face. As I said, these people have been in that land for a long time, and the only practical way for us to move forward in this was to go for the settlement so that we can actually see these kind of long problems being settled once and for all. So we're very happy that this is being done, and the first phase is being started. There are certain localities who have not agreed and are still have differences with the revenue department and with the government. We are not forcing those localities, but the localities which have agreed, where the surveys have been done, digital maps have been created, the drone surveys have been done, all the necessary exercise has been done, public hearing has been done. For the last 2 years, this exercise has been going on. So the localities which have agreed, in principle, we have now decided to go ahead with those. And in the second phase, we will continue our discussion with the other localities which have not agreed till now.
चीफ मिनिस्टर कॉनराड के संगमा ने बुधवार को मेघालय की सुरक्षा स्थिति पर स्पष्टीकरण देते हुए कहा कि राज्य पूरी तरह सुरक्षित है। उन्होंने कहा कि 10 नवंबर को दिल्ली के रेड फोर्ट के पास ब्लास्ट के बाद मेघालय में की गई रेड्स पूरी तरह नेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन प्रोसेस का हिस्सा थी। उनके मुताबिक घटना के बाद राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा एजेंसीज ने कई राज्यों में अपनी जांच बढ़ाई थी। मेघालय उन 5 राज्यों में था जहां फॉलो अप इन्वेस्टिगेशन की गई, लेकिन संगमा ने जोर दिया कि ये लोकल थ्रेट के कारण नहीं था। उन्होंने कहा कि इन रेड्स को गलत अर्थ में नहीं लेना चाहिए, ये सिर्फ प्रोसीड्यूरल स्टेप्स थे और राज्य में किसी नए खतरे का संकेत नहीं देते। सीएम के मुताबिक मेघालय बिल्कुल सुरक्षित है और इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी को लेकर कोई समस्या नहीं है।
So basically, the tinted glasses will be only for official vehicles of Z plus and Z category detectives will be there, and obviously there's a committee which is headed by the principal secretary, and hence if there are any specific cases being mentioned there, only those will be allowed. For the siren, I just read out. Sirens can be used only by vehicles of police, emergency services, pilot and escort vehicles of VVIPs and VIPs. So that means that only the police vehicles, the pilot escorts of the VVIPs and VIPs can use the siren. So it is limited to police, emergency services, which obviously means ambulances and fire service and others. So these are the first. And as I said, there's a committee headed by the principal secretary. And if there are any other categories that need to be included, this committee headed by principal secretary will be authorized to then notify if any other individual or categories need to be included in this. But as of now, as I said, as per the notification that we are giving, only the police, only the pilot escorts of the VVIPs and VIPs will be allowed to use the siren.
मेघालय और ग्रेटर शिलोंग प्रोग्रेसिव हॉकर्स एंड स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स एसोसिएशन MGSPH और SVA ने बुधवार को सरकार से मांग की कि हॉकर्स को सिविल हॉस्पिटल एरिया से बरिक में PWD प्रेमिसेस में करने वाली प्रपोज्ड रिलोकेशन टेम्पररी होगी या परमानेंट, इसको स्पष्ट करने के लिए एक MOU साइन किया जाए। मीडिया से बात करते हुए एसोसिएशन के सदस्य शेन वर्बा ने कहा कि उन्हें वर्तमान रिलोकेशन प्रोसेस पर भरोसा नहीं है क्योंकि ये ना ट्रांसपेरेंट है और ना सिस्टमैटिक और इसमें कई डिस्क्रिपेंसीज है।
Insist that especially for those people whose names have appeared without a proper institute survey, they can process it, but they have to come on the spot and the people have to show where do they went. Otherwise, non-genuine people may get and genuine ones will be left out. So that is the thing today, and we also have here the Lajong Kra hawkers because they're also trying to push for the relocation of Lajong Kra. But as I said, relocation is the last thing if you have not properly followed the process of claims and objections. In Lajong Kra also 122 were on the eligible list. But they have culled out that only 22 will get. Who has decided this? We also know that as far as Infra is concerned, there's also a case ongoing. Yesterday during the hearing, it is so shameful. And this is like, imagine the citizens of Shillong should know the kind of governance that is happening here. Shoddy, and actually, it's not just shoddy, it is outright illegal and cheating, a fraud on all of us. That they submit to the court draft minutes of the PTVC. Will that be now an acceptable document? Draft minutes. We are members of PTVC. They may write anything in a draft minutes. We have not confirmed those minutes, and yet they submit that as something on which to base the process for Lajimkra in the court. So the court also should be aware of how these people are trying to mislead it. So we're here to say that SOPs have to be in place. The claims and objections process has to be properly done. Then only can there be proper issuing of COV and shifting. It cannot be like Kandailat. Kandailat, they started shifting half and then started the process. That is totally unfair and arbitrary. And we will not allow that confusion to repeat.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने हाल ही में केंद्रीय सरकार, सभी राज्यों, यूनियन टेरिटरीज और यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट्स कमीशन यूजीसी को देश भर की प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज कैसे स्थापित हुई, उनका रेगुलेशन और मॉनिटरिंग कैसे होती है, इसकी जानकारी देने का निर्देश दिया है। जस्टिसेस आसानुद्दीन अमनुल्ला और एनवी अंजारिया की बेंच ने कहा कि जनहित में ये जरूरी है कि प्राइवेट यूनिवर्सिटीज का क्रिएशन, उनका कानूनी फ्रेमवर्क और सरकारी लाभों का पूरा विवरण सामने आए। कोर्ट ने सभी सरकारों से कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव एफिडेविट्स मांगे हैं, जिसमें बैकग्राउंड, कानूनी आधार और दिया गया फाइनेंशियल या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सपोर्ट जैसे लैंड अलॉटमेंट्स या प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट का विवरण हो। कोर्ट ने ये भी पूछा कि इन इंस्टीट्यूशंस को वास्तव में कौन चलाता है और उनकी गवर्निंग बॉडीज कैसे बनी होती है। ईस्ट खासी हिल्स डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने इंडो बांग्लादेश बॉर्डर के सेंसिटिव एरियाज में नाइट कर्फ्यू लगा दिया है। यह फैसला इंटेलिजेंस इनपुट्स मिलने के बाद लिया गया, जिसमें इन्फिल्ट्रेशन और स्मगलिंग एक्टिविटीज बढ़ने की संभावना बताई गई। डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट RM कुर्बा ने सेक्शन 163 BNSS के तहत ऑर्डर जारी किया, जिसमें कहा गया कि अनडिजायरेबल एलिमेंट्स जैसे मिलिटेंट्स और ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम ग्रुप्स रात के समय ओपन बॉर्डर का फायदा उठा सकते हैं। चीफ मिनिस्टर कॉनराड के संगमा ने बताया कि कैबिनेट ने SOPs अप्रूव किए हैं, जिसमें बीकन, फ्लैशर, सायरन, टिंटेड ग्लास और अन्य उपकरण के इस्तेमाल को रेगुलेट किया जाएगा। उन्होंने कहा कि इसका उद्देश्य मिसयूज रोकना और ये स्पष्ट करना है कि कौन लोग ऐसे इक्विपमेंट्स यूज कर सकते हैं। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आधार का इस्तेमाल पर सवाल उठाया है कि अगर कोई फॉरेनर आधार का इस्तेमाल करके वेलफेयर बेनिफिट्स ले सकता है, तो क्या उसे ऑटोमेटिक वोटिंग रोल एंट्री देनी चाहिए। ये सवाल बिहार SIR हियरिंग के दौरान उठाया गया, जहां आधार को 12वें डॉक्यूमेंट के रूप में शामिल किया गया था। बेंच ने कहा कि आधार एक कानून द्वारा बनाया गया दस्तावेज है, लेकिन इसका मिसयूज सीरियस प्रश्न उठाता है। कार से गिरकर महिला की मौत, बॉयफ्रेंड गिरफ्तार। फिजा रीशा जिरवा 26 साल, उनकी मौत एक मूविंग कार से गिरने के बाद हो गई। उसके बॉयफ्रेंड को गिरफ्तार किया गया, लेकिन बाद में बेल मिल गई। ईस्ट खासी हिल्स SP विवेक सेम ने बताया। ये घटना 7 नवंबर रात करीब 11:50 को हुई। कई गवाहों ने देखा कि गाड़ी पुलिस बाजार की तरफ जा रही थी जब जिरवा DC ऑफिस जंक्शन के पास गाड़ी से गिरती हुई देखी गई। डेप्यूटी CM स्नेहा भालांगधार ने कहा कि असम के साथ इंटर स्टेट बॉर्डर पर चर्चा बिल्कुल नॉर्मल चल रही है और इलेक्शंस का कोई प्रभाव नहीं है। उन्होंने कहा कि ऑफिशियल्स इलेक्शंस के कारण बिजी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन बातचीत जारी है। आइए डालते हैं एक नजर कुछ और खबरों पर।
Purchase of land for exchange with defense land for the expansion of the Shillong airport. This aspect has also been taken up today, and we have given formal approval to go ahead for this because it is required for the expansion of the airport, Shillong airport, so that larger flights can land. And as you know, the tender is already under process. And therefore, we felt that whatever deeper consultation that needs to be done with local community and the local headmen, we have requested and designated Deputy Chief Minister in charge of transportation to take the discussions further so that the smooth exchange of land and purchase of land can take place. But in principle, approval has been given by the cabinet to go ahead. Number 4 crores in terms of the total number of amount of money being sanctioned for these road projects and logistical setups. Next was the proposal to amend Section 44 of the Meghalaya Value Added Tax 2003 for substitution of the term bonded warehouse with central bonded warehouse. Basically, in simple terms, the VAT collection in terms of revenue was earlier done at the bond level. And as you're aware, that even the ad valorem was collected by the bond level. But now we had decided earlier that the ad valorem will be paid by the central bond. And that has in fact ensured that our overall revenue has gone up. Now, similarly, the VAT was collected by the bond at the bond level. We have now amended by this amendment today that the VAT will be now collected at the central warehouse, bonded warehouse level, which means now at only one point will be collected, which will ensure again that the leakages, if any, are cut and the revenue that comes in one go, and it will obviously increase the overall revenues as well as the time that it takes to collect, and there will be lesser scope for any of the bonds or anybody to have any kind of flexibility. Hence, we expect that the revenue of the state will go up by quite a large amount with this very small but very significant decision that we made. That we have to buy, and also we have to discuss with, as I said, defense land is there. So we are working towards how to compromise, exchange, all those aspects. So those are being looked into, but for that we have to still buy the land. So that was what the approval was for today. But to answer your question, the tendering has already been done. We expect, I had just met the Honorable Minister and the officials from Airport Authority, from Civil Aviation and from DGCA. And there is a meeting on Friday where some issues need to be sorted out. We expect that after that meeting, the tendering process will be given the green signal. We expect that the contractor should be on board, which is again being done by Airport Authority by the end of this calendar year. And from that time, there about 15 months will be taken to do the expansion of the runway and other constructions. So that's 2027 March when we expect that to happen. And in the meantime, there are certain issues and concerns in terms of the landing areas and other areas and concerns which DGCA has pointed out, which we need to work out how to resolve those issues. Those, as I said, right now I don't want to share the details right now, but the meeting on Friday is taking place to go into details of that. So we are working on resolving that, but that's the rough timeline that we're looking at. The revenue generation scheme for engineering colleges and polytechnics. As you're aware that these are all technical institutes, and today government of Meghalaya spends money and resources to get the different architectural designs to be vetted, or consultancy to be done, or different kind of studies to be done by IITs, IIMs, and so on and so forth. We strongly felt that we have got our own institutes like the Shillong Engineering College, the polytechnics, and these also can be utilized for the same purpose, which would ensure that our faculty and our students are also kept engaged, and they also earn revenue by doing that. So today we have approved the proposal for an internal revenue generation scheme, which will allow the engineering colleges, or at least the engineering college that we have, and the polytechnics, to take up these kind of different activities which were earlier being taken up by IIT. It's not that we will not engage IIT. It depends on the project to project basis. So depending on the project and the need, we will see the agency. But earlier, the engineering college and polytechnic could not take it up, even if they had the capacity to take up that project. But now this scheme will allow them to do that. Purchase of land for exchange with defense land for the expansion of the Shillong airport. This aspect has also been taken up today, and we have given formal approval to go ahead for this because it is required for the expansion of the airport, Shillong airport, so that larger flights can land. And as you know, the tender is already under process. And therefore, we felt that whatever deeper consultation that needs to be done with local community and the local headmen, we have requested and designated Deputy Chief Minister in charge of transportation to take the discussions further so that the smooth exchange of land and purchase of land can take place. But in principle, approval has been given by the cabinet to go ahead. Number 4, and it is coming to about 490 rupees per square feet. We have to give to the farmers directly. So there are 17 farmers, so the money will be given to the farmers. This is and under Tura town area, West Garo Hills. As you are aware, there are many localities where there are government offices, there are government land which have been encroached by individuals and public at large in the past 30, 40, 50 years. And in many cases, there have been a lot of court cases going on, and at different times there have been eviction notices being given, which has caused a lot of inconvenience and at times law and order situation. And hence, in line with the same policy which we adopted for William Nagar about 2 to 3 years back, the cabinet today has approved the proposal from GAD to go for settlement of these encroached land. So this will be leased out in a long-term lease to the people who are staying in that land. The land will be revenue land, but as I said, lease patta, long-term lease will be given to these individuals. There are criteria that will be followed, and based on those criteria, now as I said, it will be regularized in one way. Settlement will be done so that in the future there is no more complication and no more situations that the government or the public has to face. As I said, these people have been in that land for a long time, and the only practical way for us to move forward in this was to go for the settlement so that we can actually see these kind of long problems being settled once and for all. So we're very happy that this is being done, and the first phase is being started. There are certain localities who have not agreed and are still have differences with the revenue department and with the government. We are not forcing those localities, but the localities which have agreed, where the surveys have been done, digital maps have been created, the drone surveys have been done, all the necessary exercise has been done, public hearing has been done. For the last 2 years, this exercise has been going on. So the localities which have agreed, in principle, we have now decided to go ahead with those. And in the second phase, we will continue our discussion with the other localities which have not agreed till now. Remember, in 2016-17, when North Garo Hills district was formed, there was a proposal and funds were released by government then to buy land banks, and amount of 5 crores was given to all the newly carved out districts to buy land for the government land bank. That money has been there with the different districts, and in North Garo Hills, the DC has done his exercise and has gone ahead with the purchase of land. And as I said, this is the old proposal of 2016. It's just that we are now giving the approval to go ahead. Money has already been given in 2016. The money has been lying with the DC since then. But the purchase was done now only. And now we have gone ahead and given the approval for the purchase of the land bank for administrative setup in terms of the district in North Karo Hills. The amount about 5 crores was sanctioned at that point in time, and within that amount, this particular land has been bought. Purchase of land for development of tourism for a PPP project in Jongsha area. As you're aware, that government has now maximized its land holdings, whether it's the Tura Orchid land, which has again been finalized for a PPP project, where a private hotel is going to set up and invest in a 5-star hotel, whether it's the lands we have in Sora, whether it's the lands that we had in Shillong, and so on and so forth. This I mean by government land, so mostly by MTDC. So almost all the areas where we had land where we could upgrade into public partnership project where we could get large hotels, luxury hotels to come and invest. We have exhausted most of the land, and there are many important areas like the Laiklum, the Nongzrong, and this entire Sintung, and this whole belt of Jongsha. This area is, of course, a very popular tourist destination, and we strongly felt that there was a need to have a good resort and a 5-star hotel resort in that area, and hence there was a need for government to procure land, and this land has been purchased, and government has agreed, cabinet has agreed to go ahead. Proper procedures, of course, have been followed in every sense, where expression of interest were floated, people participated, a committee was set up, and based on that, discussions, negotiations, and final proposal was put in front of the cabinet, which was approved today. For standardization of supervision and establishment charges for utility shifting works in road development projects implemented by NHIDCL. As you're aware that these utility shiftings have to be done all the time, but the charges which are to be charged by the agencies that do the shifting, sometimes the charges differ. Sometimes somebody or some agencies charge much higher. Sometimes it's a bit too much. So therefore, we felt that it's a strong need to have a standard charge. So therefore, there was an amount that the percentage would be limited to 2.5% of the project would be the limit in terms of the charges that the agency can charge for utility shifting when the related to works of road development implemented by NHIDCL. Number 5. Yeah, the next one is the acquisition again of land in the Maukunu area. As you are aware that when we had gone ahead with the purchase of Maukunu, new Shillong Township area, there were paddy fields around in different locations. And at that point in time, the paddy field, the farmers had not agreed to give the land. But then now that the construction and the work and large projects are going forward, the discussion continued with the farmers, and the farmers have now, 17 farmers were there. They have all agreed to directly now sell the land to the government because they are seeing the large projects that are happening out there. And after the discussion, they have agreed to the sale, and today the cabinet has approved the sale of these paddy fields that are there in patches in the Maukunu, New Shillong Township area. The next was a proposal to establish the Park University in North Karo Hills in Meghalaya. This is a private university, so it's an ordinance, and the promoters have been working with the department. Department has been scrutinizing the proposal and the bill. It has been sent to the board of the private university board, as well as the legal department, education department have scrutinized the background of the promoters, the entire capacity of the concerned individuals who are going forward in this. And obviously, as you know, the new Private University Act, which was amended, which has been really, as I said, the act has been strengthened. Those will apply, and therefore we expect that all the possible scrutinies that are needed to ensure that proper monitoring of this university and other private universities are done will be also effective for the Park University. So keeping all of those aspects in mind, today the Cabinet has given its approval for the ordinance of establishment of the Park University, private university in Resubelpara, North Carolina.
अब वक्त हो चुका है आपसे विदा लेने का। कल फिर मिलेंगे कुछ और खबरों के साथ। तब तक के लिए हमें इजाजत दीजिए। नमस्कार।